you all to this webinar today, Pakistan Health Parliament. We're here today thanks to the dedicated efforts of our youth mental health domain. I would like to tell you about our esteemed organization. Pakistan Health Parliament is a pioneering institution committed to uniting stakeholders from various sectors to develop health policies, perform advocacy, and design innovative solutions for better health outcomes. In today's fast-paced world, understanding and managing our emotions is more crucial than ever. That's why we're focusing on emotional regulation, a skill that can make a huge difference in our daily lives. Emotional regulation isn't just about feeling good, it's about navigating life's ups and downs with resilience and balance. And to guide us through this, we have the wonderful Miss Fiza Rehman. Ms. Fiza is a clinical psychologist doing clinical work for the past 8 years, also an academician for the past 8 years. She has done her master's in clinical psychology and is a PhD fellow from Shifa Tameer-e-Millat University. Her expertise as a clinical psychologist and her passion for empowering others makes her the perfect guide for today's exploration. So let's dive into this together and discover how we can cultivate emotional regulation for a happier, healthier life. Welcome, Ms. Fiza. We're honored to have you here.
Thank you so much, Sana, and I welcome you all today on this webinar that's Cultivating Emotion Regulational Skills. Actually, this is a very much important topic, and when I was asked to, choose from the list, I loved and chose this one because I believe in the present day, present times, we are struggling through this part in our lives, and there are a lot of factors that are involved, and I'll quickly go over them. But first of all, I would like to thank the Health Parliament group for choosing me and inviting me to speak over here. And I welcome you all on this webinar. I hope this is useful for all of you. And I hope I would be able to plant that seed, which will grow definitely when you water it by, being aware of what's going on. So quickly, I would not go into the theoretical perspective, or I would not go into the philosophical point of view. I wanted this session to be something in which we can actually talk about what actually happens in our lives, in everyday lives, and how actually we can handle them. So for this purpose, I would just quickly, define things so that we are on the same page. Whatever I'm talking, you guys would be able to understand. And once we are, once we are aware of the terms, I won't be using jargons or stuff, but still, once we are aware of the terms, we can be more confident, and we can actually, understand the process together. I am not a very formal person, so I would keep it bilingual, so that सब समझ पाएं कि हम क्या बात करें. So starting with what emotions are. Whatever we feel in our everyday life, things are happening around us in our surroundings, and there are certain reactions that we are showing in response to those situations or events or triggers that are happening around us. And in response to those triggers, we show certain behaviors and that are overt, and we feel certain things जो कि inward होती हैं, और उनका expression outward भी हो सकता है, inward भी हो सकता है. So emotions हमारी जिंदगी का बहुत ज़रूरी हिस्सा हैं. There are a lot of emotions. There are some basic emotions that we are all aware of: happiness, sadness, fear, anger, कुछ बेसिक इमोशंस हैं जो हम एवरीडे रूटीन में सब लोग उसको महसूस करते हैं. और इमोशंस को फील करना इज नॉट problematic in itself. If you're having the emotions, this is the healthy part. This means that you're alive. We're all humans and we should have emotions. If we don't have emotions, then that means we are not alive, but we are alive, so we should feel certain emotions. So in order to be alive and be healthy and be functional, we need to have emotions. And all these जो मैंने basic emotions की बात की, happiness, sadness, fear, anger, ये सारे हमारी जिंदगी के basic emotions हैं. और इनको एक proportion में feel करना एक healthy life का part है. But when the proportion gets disbalanced or when they get out of proportion, they might cause problems in our everyday life. So the purpose of this session today is to talk about certain things that we can actually do in everyday life, some basic tips and techniques that we can actually do in our everyday life, so that we can be more productive, we can be more healthier psychologically and physically. As you guys all know, that there is no health without mental health, or physical health ko bhi hum ignore nahi kar sakte. So when we say the term public health or health, it's a combination of your physical health and your psychological health. तो दोनों साथ साथ चलती हैं. So we have to make sure that we are emotionally, psychologically strong, enabled, regulated, so that we can be physically well as well. तो इमोशनल रेगुलेशन की यही हम अभी बात करने वाले हैं. एक पर्पस इमोशनल रेगुलेशन में ये भी हमारा होता है to increase the positive emotions, या वो emotions जो हमारी routine में या हमारी life में हमें help out करते हैं, and decrease the probability of those behaviors जो कि हमारी जिंदगी में मुश्किलात का बाहिस, behaviors and emotions की बात करें, emotions जो हमारी जिंदगी में problems create करते हैं और could be problematic. So there are positive emotions and there are certain emotions. When I said positive emotions, balance of all the emotions would be necessary. I'm not saying that anger is a negative emotion, but excess of anger would be negative. Sadness बुरा नहीं है. If you have been through a situation that makes you sad, and that is a common understanding that you should be sad over it, तो अगर आप उस पर sad नहीं होंगे, तो then it's problematic. So having emotions in a normal proportion that keeps you functional is healthy. तो हम positive emotions को मजीद enhance कर सकते हैं, और जो out of proportion हमारे emotions हैं उनके ऊपर हम workout कर सकते हैं to reduce them. कैसे कर सकते हैं? I'll come to that in a bit. Normally in our everyday life, when we feel something, how do we get rid of our negative emotions or our emotions that actually bother us? हम क्या करते हैं everyday life में? There's या तो हम problem solving करने की कोशिश कर रहे होते हैं. Okay, so for example, I'm feeling angry. So why I'm feeling angry? What should I do about it? Let's solve this. What's going on? हम problem solve करने की कोशिश कर रहे होते हैं, but that doesn't work every time. So problem solving in terms of emotion doesn't work every time. या हम क्या कर रहे होते हैं, हम कंट्रोल करने की कोशिश करते हैं, नहीं मुझे गुस्सा नहीं करना, नहीं मुझे उदास नहीं होना, नहीं मुझे ऐसा नहीं करना. So we're trying to control the emotions. That's not also going to help every time. शायद superficially हम for the time being अपने आप को manage कर लेंगे, लेकिन this is not going to help every time. Or the third thing that we typically do in our everyday life is avoid emotions. Feel ही नहीं करना, गुस्सा बस कुछ हुआ है, गुस्सा आ रहा है, लेकिन feel ही नहीं करना. Avoid emotion, ये suppress emotions. तो इस तरह की कुछ हम टेक्निक्स यूज कर रहे होते हैं अपनी एवरीडे लाइफ में इंटेंस इमोशंस को से बचने के लिए या अपने आप को फंक्शनल रखने के लिए, जो कि लॉन्गर टर्म में या डीप डाउन हेल्पफुल नहीं है। कंट्रोल करना अपने इमोशंस को या अवॉइड या सप्रेस करना इमोशंस को, या बहुत लॉजिकली उसको प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग वाली टेक्निक्स लगानी शुरू कर दी, एंड वी वांट टू प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व दिस इमोशनल ups and downs. No, this is not going to help. So what is going to help? um, I think I can talk right now about this, and we can talk in a little bit detail about it after a while as well. तो हमने क्या करना है? हमने प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं करना, कंट्रोल नहीं करना, सप्रेस नहीं करना, तो फिर हमने क्या करना है? सबसे पहली और ज़रूरी चीज़ ये है कि हमने सबसे पहले माइंडफुल होना है और एक्सेप्ट करना है। I'll talk more about acceptance. It's a very important part. It's it's a kind of a part in your life कि जब आपकी ज़िंदगी में acceptance आ जाती है किसी चीज़ के लिए, once you realize, once you accept that this thing exists in my life, or this emotion is happening in my life, and this is causing problem, so what or and how I'm going to manage this. Once we have acceptance, we would be more open towards the emotion. Let me give you an example for this. For example, there is somebody who is really who gets triggered quickly and is an angry person most of the time, because of which their relationships are affected, their workplace relationships are affected, and their family relationships are affected. So what could that person do? Suppress the emotion, control the emotion, problem solve what's going on? नहीं, बेहतर ज़्यादा क्या help out करेगा? First step would be acceptance. The person would accept that yes, I get angry, and then they would be taking the next step कि अब मैंने आगे चल के क्या करना है. So this one part is going to be the revolutionary part, acceptance. बाकी चीज़ों में भी बहुत useful है, but when it comes to emotional regulation, first acceptance of how you emotionally work is going to help you. जो हमने बात की on hand skills की, that I'm going to share with you, acceptance is one of it, लेकिन वो मैं अभी I would delay that for a while, and after maybe 10 minutes we'll talk about it more. मैं अभी इसी चीज़ acceptance से आगे एक बात करना चाहूँगी. In our everyday life, things are happening. We cannot control the environment. And we all know that we cannot control the situations or the triggers most of the time. Sometimes we can do that, but most of the time we cannot. For example, there's a person who has a workplace जहाँ पे वो इमोशनली ट्रिगर्ड रहता है क्योंकि लोग उसको गुस्सा दिलाते हैं या बहुत चैलेंजिंग सिचुएशन रहती है उसके लिए. सो यू कैन नॉट चेंज द योर जॉब ऑल ऑफ अ सडन. हाँ, आप लोगों को कुछ थोड़ी देर के लिए अपनी एक्टिविटीज को बदल सकते हैं, अपना ग्रुप बदल सकते हैं, मे बी नॉट एवरी टाइम. कहने का मकसद ये है कि एवरी टाइम द जो आपका environment है, you cannot change your environment. What you're going to do is bring some positive change, or bring something different within yourselves. And what that different part would be, that would be connected to your emotions, would be uh, regulating your emotions. So when you get triggered from the extraneous stimuli, that is your environment, you cannot change the environment every time, but what you can do is you can learn to adapt to environment. You can learn to adapt to healthy or positive emotions most of the time, so that you can function better.